And this coffee is upsetting me because it's making me all phlegmy. I am Ray, and you were never meant to attract abundance, because abundance is what you already are. And how can you get or receive what you already have? It cannot be done. And that is why a lot of the law of attraction stuff will sabotage you. Because, well, here's the thing. Let me find a marker real quick to demonstrate. Here is you, and here is you trying to get something. What is it that you want? Why are you here? We're all looking for something, right? We all want to get abundance, whatever that means to you. But the very fact of our trying to get that thing implies that we don't have it. And that's the problem. Because we're trying to find what we want outside of ourselves when we are the source. All we have to do is remember that you are the source of abundance. And then everything else will take care of itself. Because until you embody the energy of abundance, well, you will not receive. And even if you do receive, it will only be temporary. Because you won't be able to sustain that frequency, so-called. Oh no, where is my hand puppet? He is gone again, on vacation. Oh. Nope. He was abandoned. On the floor. If you want to attract abundance into your life, one of the most important things... I guess that was a contradiction, huh? I guess I should choose my words carefully. If you want to actually receive abundance, you have to embody and sustain that energy of abundance long enough for it to happen. And in order for that to happen, I don't think there's any choice but to take your attention away from the sensory world and focus it within yourself. Because Source is the source of abundance. It's the source of all things. And until you tap into that, well, you're going to be fluctuating. Because in this world, everything's changing. So when something good happens, you're looking out in the world and you're like, yeah, I like this. And then as that changes and goes away, you're like, nope, don't like this. Roller coaster up and down and up and down. And it's just messing with your energy. So you can never stabilize in any particular frequency. At least for most people, it's really difficult. So you have to become the source. You have to become the cause of your reality. Otherwise, you're going to be at the effect, reacting to things. I don't have abundance, so let me try the latest manifestation technique. You don't have to do anything. You just have to remember who you are, what you actually are. That is the infinite. Hello. But you can only find your true self if you seek. And well, just a hint, it's, you are that, so it's got to be in you somewhere, right? How many places can you hide? Well, you're right here. It's just hiding in plain sight. But because we spent our whole lives living in the sensory world, we have all of these made-up ideas of who we think we are. And we are attached to our identification with our body, with our ego, that which is always changing. Therefore we struggle. But within you is the eternal. Without the sense of safety and security, you can never stabilize in abundance. Now, a lot of people do it accidentally or unconsciously. Because think about it, if you start a business and you struggle really hard and then it's successful, well, once you make a lot of money, you kind of feel safe. You're not worried about it anymore. So you sustain that energy of abundance. And that is why it is said, well, for those who have, more will be given, and those who have not, even what they have, will be taken from them. Because what you focus on, you create more of. And if you were just thrown into a life of poverty, well, that's all you got to focus on, so you're going to create more of it. And then if you find success and you find abundance, well, you're going to be focusing on that. Of course, until it changes. Now, whether you awaken to your true nature or not, the fundamental, mindset is the same regardless. What does this mean? It means you have absolute faith and trust and certainty that everything is working out perfectly. That the money will come because you are the source. and there are no requirements. There are no, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Conditions. You don't put conditions on your abundance, because that means you're not living in abundance. Because in order for your abundance to be manifest, well, certain conditions have to be met, and that's not always going to happen because of the changing reality. So you cannot wait for your reality to change. It's like they say, you cannot look in the mirror and wait for the reflection to smile back at you. You have to smile first. You have to enter and embody the energy of abundance first in order for your reality to change. See? A lot of this is programming our nervous system to feel safe around abundance, around money. Because the more safe and secure you feel, the more you can hold. And the less secure you feel, well, you're living in fear. So you make decisions out of fear. And that's why people make bad financial decisions. Unconsciously, they are sabotaging themselves because they don't feel safe with the money. They're living in survival mode. They're living out of desperation. And that intention, that energy, is influencing every action that they take. So what do you expect? People live lives of poverty only because they don't know their power. They don't realize that, well, your mind is a tool that directs energy. And within you is the source of energy, called God. Ever heard of it? I think a guy a long time ago said the kingdom of God is in you, but have you looked? I'm disappointed. Well, I'm here now, and I can tell you, hey, look, it's right here. Look, it's right here. And because energy is the force of creation, that is why you create more of what you focus on. But if you're living from your senses, well, your environment dictates what you focus on. You're getting pulled around by your emotions. You're getting pulled around by your personal interests and your fears and your worries. The only way to be free is to take your attention away from the world and realize that your circumstances are irrelevant. The data being received is irrelevant. That is why in a mad world, the realists lose. The realists will always be slave to the mad people, the crazy people. Because if I can say, well, if you can ignore your temporary circumstances, focus within yourself and embody the energy of abundance, if you can stabilize in this state, your natural state, long enough, well, then the world's going to reflect that change. As they say, as within, so without. Your outer reality is nothing more than a reflection of what is within you. All of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all of your beliefs and the stories you got going on, and your identities. All of those things are creating the world you are experiencing. And why is this? Because between world and source is you. And whatever information is in you is being filtered through this creative power called life and being projected out onto the world. So we don't experience reality as it is. We experience reality as we are. We are experiencing ourselves projected outward, which is why you have to return to source. Because the more you align with source, the more you embody the source of abundance itself. No matter what you do out into the world, it will always be limited. So tap into the limitless. You just have to surrender into yourself and see through the illusion of what you are not. You are not a changing experience. You are the eternal consciousness, the witness, the awareness behind it all. Now, I don't expect you to become enlightened in one video, although it can happen. But you gotta want to find your true self. And what you will find is that, well, all the stuff of the world is irrelevant. It's like, I really want $1 million. Where are my dollars? Well, You can be the money printing machine. $1 million is just a number. It's just money is fake anyway. And yet, how many people are slaving away their lives for fake dollars? And you might say, well, no, it's real. Yeah, it's real because we believe it is real. And the moment people stop believing it is real, well, then we're going to have a bad day. The world is. So you want to be the source of what you seek. You cannot find what you want outside of yourself because it will always be conditional. And that's not good because you're going to lose it because everything in this world comes and goes. But what is within you, you yourself does not come and go. I mean, think about it. From the moment you're born until the moment you die, what is the one constant that doesn't change? It's you. You are there always, no matter what. You are the same. We only believe ourselves to change because we have falsely placed our identification on what we are not. Now there are spiritual practices we can do to remember, but it's not doing anything to get. We're only remembering what is already true and breaking free from the illusions. That you are the source of abundance. And depending on how much worldly conditioning you got, well, it depends on how long it's going to take to solidify in this new understanding. Because you're going to have your survival instincts and your feelings and your thoughts, your ego stuff. It's going to grip you. It's going to grab those cheeks and it's going to pull you down. Because it's so powerful. I mean, think about being in this animal body. It's very powerful. The instincts drive most of our decisions in our life. So, you need a separate powerful force to pull you away from that. There's the gravity of the world and there's the gravity of God. But you cannot enter into the orbit of God unless you look and start going in that direction. Because by default, we're already stuck in the orbit of the world. So you need at least an equal and opposite force to pull you in the opposite direction. It just so happens that, God is a bigger force, or a bigger source, or a bigger ball orbiting. A ball to orbit. I don't know, is God a ball? I guess we'll never know. Perhaps God is an orb to ponder. How about that? And you'll see how you get pulled into your senses, pulled into the sense data. And when that happens, you'll start feeling anxiety. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. But the good news is that you don't have to pull this off. You just have to manage your energy. But in order to do that, you got to take your attention away from the world because it's distracting you. If you're looking at the evidence, you're going to feel whatever the evidence says. The only way to stabilize your energy is to remove the distractions, find inner peace, and stabilize in that inner peace. And once you are there, well, it's a lot more difficult for you to get pulled around. It's a lot easier for you to say, I am the source of abundance, and actually believe it. Because you know intuitively that this is true, and it's not just some philosophical idea. But until you experience it for yourself, it's just a philosophical idea, which is why it doesn't help us. Which is why a lot of the spiritual teachings, a lot of the manifestation stuff, it doesn't help us in times of crisis. Because it was, from the very beginning, it was just a thought that we wanted to believe in. It sounded nice, but those kinds of things don't survive when you're in the fire. Only what you embody survives. And the only way to enter into the state of abundance is to continuously remember it and don't take your attention away from it, because you create more of what you focus on. The more abundance you focus on, the more you will experience it. Now I say this, going within yourself is important because you want to adopt the feeling of safety and security, of surrender, of letting go, of allowing life to take care of you. Realizing that everything is perfectly okay. It's all good. Don't worry. Live your life rooted in the present moment. Because then what will happen is that, well, You build the foundation of your life on solid ground, on the eternal. So when you go back out into the world, you are stable. You're not pulled all over the place. The storms of life can come and they won't blow your house down. And you could say the second part of this is you go out into the world and, well, you just look at the abundance already present. Because, well, the fact is, the universe is equally balanced between negativity and positivity. They're just two opposites of the same one thing. So they have to be. They're mathematically opposite. And equal. So there's infinite abundance everywhere, and there's infinite scarcity everywhere. So it's not what you think is true. Again, why realists lose. It's what you choose to focus on. If you choose to focus on the lack and scarcity, it will be true for you. And if you choose to focus on the abundance, it will be true, regardless of your circumstances. And what you do is that over time, you just focus your mind in better directions every day until you start living your dream life. And it takes time, because we've spent our whole lives focusing on negativity. And also, well, you might have 99 things going wrong, and only one thing going right. So it's not exactly easy, but we don't really have a choice now, do we? Because if you keep focusing on everything that's going wrong, it's just more stuff wrong. And a big part of this is gaining awareness, realizing when you're getting pulled into the world and getting distracted and feeling that anxiety. That's a signal. Hey, take a step back, go within yourself, because you're being distracted. Take your attention away from the world for a little bit. Reaffirm your true state as abundance. You tell yourself over and over again that I am the source of abundance. Not me, but you. And you will believe it over time. And you got to feel it. That's what Neville Goddard said, feeling is the secret. Because that feeling will program into you that new information. So all you got to do is start feeling more abundant more often. Think about what feeling safe, knowing that everything is working out, it's all good. Well, you're no longer messing with your energy. It's a lot more difficult for lack and scarcity to enter into you. And two, what happens when you focus on abundance, what you already have, instead of what you don't have? Well, you start to feel good about it. But it takes conscious effort. You can't just keep living your life normally and expecting anything to change. You have the power to think any thought right now. And if you don't override that unconscious programming, well, then you're just going to get more of just the same. Because when you're going out buying your groceries and you see them, each one, click, 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 or scan, whatever the beeping noise is, you start to get anxiety. Oh no, I think I bought more than I should have. Well, in that moment, you got to override the programming. You can't just allow that to continue. Because in that moment, you're reaffirming your lack and scarcity. And you're going to create more of it. So that's the opportunity to say, oh, well, I'm so grateful that I have the money to spend on this. And think about how that makes you feel. It makes you feel a little bit better rather than focusing on, oh, no, this is scary. Well, that makes you feel bad. So it's ingraining in you either positive information or negative information. You either have a positive relationship with money and abundance or a negative one. And whatever your relationship is, it will be reflected in your outer life. And so there's two ways you can really deal with it. You could either deal with your problems in the world and hopefully, by overcoming them, you become a greater version of you. Or you can realize from the very beginning that your problems are a reflection of you, work on yourself first, and then the problems go away. I think the greatest formula we can use for this situation is the Behave Matrix. Your SOB, what do you think that means? Your state of being influences how you act, and how you act influences what you get. But everyone's living on the slave side of this equation, and that's why we struggle. Because we say, I want this, I got to go get more, I got to do a lot to get this. But if you don't change the underlying cause of it all, well, then you won't be able to sustain it. And that is why people are worse off after they win the lottery. Because their outer environment changed, but their inner environment didn't change. So life eventually balances itself out and reverts back to the default, whatever your energy is. And this is also why a rich person can lose all of their money and gain it all back and more, because life is just reflecting back their energy. They can't lose it. Even if they tried to lose it, they couldn't, because they're living the energy of abundance. Remember the Bible quote, more will be given. That is why the poor stay poor and the rich get richer. And that is how life is set up. It's not capitalism. It's not the government. It has nothing to do with anything of a society construct. It's universal laws that you either obey or get punished. So, what we can do, instead of doing things to get, we do things to change our SOB, state of being. It's like raising your frequency. Whenever you find yourself being stressed out because of things that are happening, go for a walk. Go exercise. Go do something. Take your mind away from it, because your mind focusing on the problems are stressing you out. So you gotta take your senses away from that. And in the present moment, those problems don't exist. They only exist when you're focusing on them, and therefore that is when they influence you. The primary cause of our unhappiness is not what happens to us. It's our thoughts about what happens to us. Eckhart Tolle said that when you find yourself worrying about your financial situation, go and meditate alone and repeat the affirmations in your mind over and over again. I love being rich. I love life. I love everything. Look at all the wonderful things I have. And you keep repeating that, and guess what? More thoughts naturally arise that are in alignment with what you're thinking. Now images are starting to arise of actually the amazing things in your life that you weren't paying attention to previously. That is all it is. We're just not paying attention to all the good that is already present, and that is why we suffer. Because by default, our human animal body has to focus on the negative primarily for survival purposes. Because in the caveman days, if you were just go with the flow, everything is love and light, well, you would be immediately eaten by either another monkey or a big, scary tiger. Because you just wander into the forest and get eaten. So you have to be aware. You have to be cautious. You got to live from fear, because fear will keep you alive. But you're not an animal anymore. You have an animal body, and you will either get consumed by it or you will transcend it and rise above it. As Yeshua said in the Gospel of Thomas, if a lion eats the man, not good. But if the man eats the lion, that's good. Because there's this process of unity. You are either destroyed and taken down by your animal instincts, or you master them and rise them up and use them as your ally instead of your enemy. But you have to learn how to live in this animal body. You got to learn how to not react to your emotions and your negative thoughts and take your attention away from the sense data. You got to learn how to focus on what you want, not on what reality appears to be telling you. And again, the more you try to logically play this game of evidence and data, and this is what is true in my life, well then you're just going to get more of whatever it is you're already experiencing. If you can change the way you look at things, change the way you approach life, instead of trying to get so many things, you always focus on managing yourself. I don't know what I was going to say. You manage yourself and your state of being and your energy. You see? Your SOB. You listening to me? Because if you can just manage your energy, everything will take care of itself. Your energy is your point of attraction. Who you are is your point of attraction. Life is just a mirror reflection of you. Take your attention away from the world, focus it in on yourself. How can I manage my energy? And how can I use this problem that I'm experiencing for my highest spiritual growth, or my growth in general? How is this situation helping me? Because when you reframe the problems in life in this way, you stop feeling bad about them, and it stops messing up your energy. Because you can see, and you'll learn over time, life, God's hand is working with you the whole time. You never needed to struggle, and there was never any burden placed upon you that was meant to destroy you. It's all meant to help you. But because our ego is so stubborn, sometimes life has to smack us in the butt over and over again until we learn and surrender. And stop getting caught in our own personal drama of like, why is this happening to me? I hate this, I hate this, I hate my life. And you got to go through that phase. If you do, I did. But you overcome it because you realize it was not helping you. Whenever you have a thought, don't ask yourself, is this thought a representation of the truth? Ask yourself, is this thought serving me or is it not? And you have your answer. If it's not serving you, then forget about it. Ignore it. It's irrelevant. Doesn't matter how true it seems to be. Because if you believe it, you will believe it into existence. Because you're entertaining that, you're focusing on it, and you're giving your creative power to it, to that narrative. We're always believing things into existence accidentally. But now you can believe into existence all that you desire by managing your energy, by embodying the energy of abundance and staying there. And whenever the scary monsters of the world come and say, no, you're living in lack and scarcity, look at all these problems, look at this problem, look at this problem, you just close your eyes and remember your true place. Remind yourself that you are the source of what you seek, and never forget it. Because this game is it's this process of forgetting and remembering and forgetting and remembering, and all we have to do is stop forgetting. And even if you forget sometimes, it's okay. Just remind yourself, and everything's going to be just fine. If you'd like to find your tribe of like-minded seekers of truth like you, I encourage you to check it out. Link is below. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be